What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch? Just gonna chat about some of the crap that happened yesterday. I'll go through these tweets. I haven't actually gone through it word by word and looked at how insane they are, but that's what we're gonna do today. Also, though, I would like to see. Yeah, here. So, yesterday, your shit's on Doxbin, just an FYI, so I'd watch out just. I'm not gonna bring up Doxbin. It has my phone number on there. It's already been doxed. I don't need to help that along. And same with it. There's a private email in there too. So yeah, there's always the possibility that some. Let's just go through these crazy tweets here. I don't know if it's in order. I don't really care. We'll go through them one by one. So yeah, every day, all day, as you tag me in your tweets, I get email notifications. What? Okay, so before I knew who this was, she had blocked me and she was tweeting about me and she was calling me a piece of a shit, and maybe not that, but she's definitely calling me a liar about everything I was saying about her brother. I didn't get a single notification from her because she had me blocked. When people block you or you block them, you don't get any notifications. So I don't know what she's talking about, email notifications. I never got a single notification from her until she unblocked me and sent these 6 tweets, tagged them. I'm tagged in all of them, and then deleted them before I could actually pull them up on my phone. Well, that was what she was hoping. But as you can see, it says failed to load tweet. So my phone actually cached those tweets. I was able to see them after they were deleted, and they were gone in a matter of minutes. So I don't know who these 2 likes were, but basically, I feel like she was posting these things, and either she had people over her shoulder in the same room as her, or people she was that they might not have been in the same room with her, but she was clearly interacting with them in real time, or they just happened to be seeing her tweeting these things, and either they were more on the ball with these tweets. Like they were just, they must have been like, if they weren't in the room with her or her friends that she was, sorry, I was speaking soon, if she wasn't talking to them, they had to have been like refreshing her profile over and over again because they were able to like these tweets before I was able to read them after getting a notification on my phone. Anyways, the police have told you that it needs to stop. No, they haven't. They haven't told me anything. They called me and they didn't say what it was about, and they called me first day they called me 3 times within like half an hour and left 2 messages, and they were very intimidating messages. They were vague. They didn't tell me what was going on, but I don't know. Maybe Naomi isn't someone who has had to deal with the bad side of the cops, but if the cops are calling you and you haven't committed a crime and someone's managed to convince them that you're doing something wrong, and they're calling you, they've already made up their mind and they're going to press charges or whatever, and they're just looking for stuff to incriminate you. They don't want to get your side of the story. They don't want to figure out the situation. They just want to push it into the courts. But, anyways, I'm going to call them one more time. This is really weird because in another tweet, she doesn't know who I am, but she goes back and forth from knowing a lot about who I am and knowing things about me that like aren't true, and if they are true, I don't know. Like if I have 2 harassment charges against me, I've never been served with them. It's really fucking weird. This is like the only time an online feud has ended up in me being contacted by the police. The only other time I got contacted by the police was when I was trying to get noise harassment charges pressed against my neighbor. And she tried, I don't know if she described it as harassment, but she called the police and said like it was unacceptable for me to complain about the noise and then go and call the police if the noise harassment continued. Like basically, it's harassment for me to ask my neighbor to stop breaking the law and then to warn my neighbor that I'm going to have to go to the police if they don't stop breaking the law. That's not fucking harassment. If that's a harassment charge against me, okay. Sorry, I got 15 things here. So if you're looking at these tweets and like, yeah, like they could be truthful words from someone who is 100% genuine, but it's not. It's yeah. If you look at the situation, it's sort of like that lady with the dog at the park who she was just asked to put her dog on the leash. You're totally allowed to ask people to do things to stop breaking the law when they're breaking the law. You're totally allowed to criticize people who are self-proclaimed internet celebrities and run businesses. Like last time I checked, if a business screws over an employee or a customer, you're allowed to talk about it. You're allowed to warn other workers and other customers. Like there's no non-disclosure agreement. There's no blanket non-disclosure agreement in effect. If you do something shitty, or if you have like volatile information that like you need to keep secret from the competition, you get a non-disclosure agreement. Like I'm sorry, but you don't like certain people in businesses. They don't have this special set of rules and laws that only applies for them. Like that's not how the world works. But anyways, I'm going to call them one more time and insist that charges are pressed as they have a whole record of all this. You mean a back and forth between us? Because it needs to stop. Please, please. Um, you can't just like trash talk someone and then when they constantly see you trash talking them and defend themselves, you can't just say it needs to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop trash talking. You can't say shit about a person and then tell them they need to stop before they get a chance to defend themselves. That's not how the world works. Let's move on to the next. You tweet all kinds of horrible stuff to tons of businesses. Oh, you just you mean the businesses I've worked at? You mean the ones where like I've been a hardworking employee and I've been taken advantage of, and businesses violate the Employment Standard Act, and I go to the landlord, sorry, not landlord, the labor board, and I tell them what happened, and I get awarded. I got like I'm talking about the merchant, for example. They're probably the one business that I tweet the most horrible stuff about. They had a decision awarded in my favor for $1,100 from me and about $100 in an administrative fine that goes towards the government worker who did my case. Uh, I'm sorry, but there's all sorts of horrible things about businesses out there. Maybe if businesses don't want horrible things tweeted about them, they should be better businesses. Like, it's just so fucking insane. And people, I'm trying to think. I don't know how many, like, it's just her brother and Travis. Like, again, they were shitty people. and then they go on the internet and they gloat about getting away with being shitty people. Like, it's just a matter of time before karma catches up to them, and I just showed up to give karma a little push, I guess. Anyway, why would I do anything to try and attack you? Well, you see, she was incredibly upset about the stuff I was tweeting about Pat, and she was calling me a liar, and she's going through she went through my Twitter, like, you know how you tweet all kinds of horrible stuff to tons of businesses? She went through all the way to my really old tweets, okay? Like, she's more obsessed with me than I am with her. I was just checking up on her to see if she was tweeting about me, and she was. She was literally going through my thing just to see every single tweet I said, and yet she can't even like wrap her head around the stuff I'm tweeting about her. She can't even have like a logical, coherent response. And it's for the love of God. Oh, it's capitalized God. Please make it stop. I can't take it anymore. Send me your PayPal or something if it's money you're after. Never been after money. It's very obvious what I'm after. I was here to share my stories so that people who might have their doubts about someone, or some people who just want to see what's out there, they can see what certain people are like behind closed doors. Like, is there something wrong with knowing that people are two-faced piece of shit? Or if you are a two-faced piece of shit, or if you're defending and enabling someone, there's going to be something wrong with talking about how people are two-faced. Like, this is so ridiculous. She knew it, like, it would make her look like she's going on. It's almost like she's intentionally being hysterical. But anyway, that's next tweet. Please leave me alone, I'm begging you. Okay. Funny thing is, she stopped tweeting about me, and I stopped responding to those tweets, and the amount of me tweeting about her just plummeted. But here we are again, because it looks like someone who had my phone number. It's sort of like when it was being spammed, and I messaged her brother and begged with him to make it stop. And 25 minutes after I stopped texting him, it stopped. Almost like I was right about it being his sister or one of his sister's friends. Police have asked you and you won't stop. The police haven't asked me at all. Like, this is an online dispute. I feel like if the police are trying to dissolve an online disturbance or whatever, maybe they should have talked to me. Like, they didn't send me a single message. They don't respond to any tweets they're tagged in. It's all about public image with the police. But yeah, they called me and left a bunch of voicemails, and like I listened to the first two, and they didn't tell me what was going on. They were intimidating. The female officer sounded like she was mad that I didn't instantly answer the phone or call her back. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not the center of the universe, Miss Lady Cop person. I have no interest in your life. Well, that's weird because you went through like all my tweets. You went and found my main personal account that I would have been using, but I had to make a second account to get past a block with Travis. And it's like a little fucking game with Travis. Like, every time he tweets to me, he's like, he's fucking loving it. He's gloating it. He's laughing about the whole situation. He likes the attention. He likes getting called out. I don't know what he tells his friends. He's probably like, oh, it's not true, but it makes me feel good being popular. This guy like fucking hates me so much. I got real estate in his mind. No, you just got real estate in the past because you were actually doing those things. Travis that I say he did at the time. Like I saw with my very own eyes everything that he did, except for a few things that his roommate and coworker Mackenzie came forward to tell me about, and all the things I didn't see that other people told me about. I went to Travis. I was like, "Is this true?" And he said, "Yes, it's true." So if he's a fucking weirdo who tells his close friends that false allegations against him are true just to end a relationship because he's borrowed over $1,000 from that person, yeah, it seems like something Travis. But anyways, no interest in my life. She was very interested when she started seeing my tweets criticizing her brother. What can I do, please? Uh, well, we could have a rational discussion about the shit that your brother like. She was like, "You're lying. It's not true." It's like, well, you weren't there. I was there. He didn't even fucking talk about having a sister when I was friends with him. So yeah, if you're gonna act like you know things are false and you weren't there, and you're gonna act like your word is more carries more weight than someone who was there, then you're just a crazy narcissist who's been put on a pedestal by other people, and you're just too fucking used to it. Spoiled. Anyways, I don't know who you are. Well, see, the thing is, her brother knew who I was. Clearly, it was me by like me talking about the crap he did. Like it was just me, him, and his boyfriend. And so it's either me or his boyfriend. But like from my story, it was clearly me. She didn't have to know all my personal information to get a phone number and then attach an email to it. She didn't need to know who I was to spam my phone. That's something you can do to like a random tweeting. You find someone you don't like and you find their personal information. You don't need to know their name and their address. You get their phone number. You blow it up with spam because you're a little childish person. By all appearances, like yes, it could have been someone else who was waiting for the opportunity to be like, oh well, he's getting in an argument with these like this guy and his sister. This is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to go and do this shit, and it's going to look like them. Yes, that's a possibility. But their responses scream to me that it probably wasn't the case. All I did was report and block you for being rude to my brother, and you won't fucking stop. No, she blocked me, and then she was challenging my claims against him and trash talking me without my knowledge until I was just going through a thread and was like, oh, this is a tweet from someone who's blocked me. I have no idea who it is. And she was trying to start a campaign. She's got at the time she had 18,700 followers, and I guess some people were like, yeah, you this guy's probably right about you're going after him and then playing innocent. But she lost some fucking followers. She's down to 18,600. But she didn't just do that. She was like, "Oh, here's his account. Report him. Like, go after him and shit." Like, she was trying to get her 18,000 followers to gang up against me. And I was like calling her out on that shit, and that's what I wouldn't fucking stop. And then eventually she went private, but then in her little bio under her picture, she was leaving me messages. She was like, "Yes, I'm tweeting about you all the time." Like when after I was like tweeting that, like I don't know what the fuck she's tweeting there. Like it looked like the phone spam could have been her. It looked like she might have used going private to get some followers to help her out with. I was just saying it looks really bad. You go private and then all of a sudden my phone blows up, and then I text your brother and beg him to make it stop, and it stops 25 minutes later.
I'm sorry, it looks like it's you, and you can post this stuff in all caps and try and play innocent, but it doesn't look like it. Like it's just weird. And you won't fucking stop. Well, yeah, because I kept getting tweets directed at me, and then when she went private, I kept seeing messages in her bio. I kept going. I wasn't going to like stare at her picture and stare at her bio. I was going checking her thing. Like, did she unprivate herself? Is she tweeting about me? That I wouldn't know because I don't get any notifications because we have mutually blocked her. Which again, like I don't know how she was getting notifications when we mutually blocked each other. Like that's not how Twitter works. So I don't know if she actually told the police she was getting notifications, but clearly she's just mad that I was calling her out and I wasn't running away and I was defending myself. And so she had to make up the whole notification thing to make it sound like it's worse. Maybe because, like, without me blowing up her phone with notifications, there's not even a remotely beginning of a harassment case. Like, and again, if she was getting notifications from me, that's something she could block. Like, that's not something like, well, this person is like blowing up my phone on like Facebook or Twitter. It's like, did you block them? Mm, no. Or in this case, yes. Well, then how are you receiving the emails? Yeah. I'm so afraid for my life at this point. Um, you go on like what? Like this is why is she afraid for her life? Like I was calling out her brother for being a piece of shit. She started tweeting about me behind my back and hypocritically accusing me of being a piece of shit for tweeting about Pat behind his back, but and she was acting like my tweets were directed at Pat and I was stupid for thinking he would read them and he couldn't. My tweets were for his customers and employees so they would know the truth about it. Like it's not about him, it's about the people he takes advantage of. Like nothing in any of my tweets would remotely make her afraid for her life. The only thing that would legitimately make her afraid for her life at this moment is a mental disorder. So if that's what's going on, I hope she's getting the help that she needs. I'm afraid for my life because my phone is the one going off. I haven't doxed her. I didn't get her personal information and personally spam it. I don't know what she's afraid of. She's shut down all other social media, terrified that she'll attack me elsewhere. Um, Again, like I'm just rising up to meet her response. She's some crazy person who thinks she can call out someone who is calling out her brother, and she expects that person that she's calling out to not, they should just roll over and not say a word. And if they do, all of a sudden she's terrified that that person's going to be stalking her, going to her other profiles. That almost makes me wonder, is she projecting? Has she in the past gotten mad at somebody and gone and found their profiles on other social media sites? Because it seems like she's projecting and terrified that I'll attack her elsewhere. And by attack, she means me like going through her tweets and breaking them down and rebuting them and then going through my phone spam and now my doxing and being like, well, it's really, really bad. It looks like it's them. Like, I have no proof that it's her and her brother, but it looks like it. Like, that's not attacking. That's just he's like, that's as a victim, it's expressing your freedom of speech. You're allowed to express freedom of speech when you're not a victim. Like I could literally go through. I could literally have nothing to do with her brother and her business, and I could go on there and tweet the most vile crap that I could. But as long as it comes off as my opinion and me not being like, oh, I know for a fact this guy's like a pedophile and has like child porn on his computer, when like that's not an opinion. Okay. But yeah, there is freedom of speech. Victims are entitled to freedom of speech, and even non-victims can say whatever the fuck they want as long as it's not slander or defamatory. I don't know you and I don't have your contact info. Well, oh, so this is her defense. I couldn't have done it. I don't have your phone number. That's like a thief getting caught. Like, it wasn't me. I don't have any of the stolen stuff. Just hoping that like the bush that they threw it in doesn't get searched or whatever. Like you can say you don't have my contact info, but that's what someone who does have my contact info, who just spammed me, would say. That's what they would say. Not everybody who does stupid shit brags about it. Like, someone did, if it was her, she was stupid enough to spam my phone in the first place, but she wasn't stupid enough to brag about it. Okay, so that's the 4. And then there's these 2 more. Stop tweeting about me. Stop tweeting about me too. Like, sorry, you can't force someone else to give you the last word. You either get the last word because you are in a righteous position and you're actually not the one at fault, and you say shit and that you make them so dumbfounded they don't know how to respond. Or in other cases, you can be psychotic and crazy, and the other person's just like, well, this is going nowhere. I'm not going to respond anymore. They can have the last word. So I pissed off someone else. That's a convenient excuse, but again, it it would have to be someone who was waiting for the prime opportunity and took advantage. Like, she should be saying, like, I could see how you might think it was me because of the timing, but I'm really sorry it wasn't me. And like, you can tell, like, in none of these tweets she condemns the whole spamming and doxing thing. Like, a good way to judge a person is how they treat their enemies. Now, if you're pissed off at people, like people who are horrible people, maybe they have broken the law. You have to be the bigger person, and you don't like expect the law to be broken towards that. Like, if the law isn't there to defend a criminal, then did the criminal really do anything bad in the first place when he broke the law? Like, the law has to be enforced at all times for everybody. It has to be fair. Anyways, I do not have any reason to get revenge on you. That is really fucking weird because she was livid. You could tell when I first found out she blocked me and she was trying to start a campaign with her 18,000 followers. She was raging. She was livid. She was pissed. But yes, she doesn't have any reason to get revenge. And she doesn't have tools at her disposal like 18,000 followers yet. There's no reason at all. Leave me alone so I can deal with the fact that my mother is dying. Maybe you don't go starting shit or involving yourself in shit and then ask to be left alone. Like, she consciously decided to get involved with me criticizing her brother. Like, it was her choice. I'm not going to her house and like getting a gun, pointing it at her head and being like, get on the fucking computer and tweet.
get involved in this shit, bitch, or I'm gonna kill you. Like, what? She chose to do this on her own. She just wants to say some stupid, toxic, vile, untruth shit, and then me roll over and not respond. Right? Shit, you know. Stop, stop, stop. You've made me want to kill myself. Is that not enough? No, it's. I don't want to make you kill yourself. And this is really pathetic because I have been there and I have legitimately had friends or people who I thought were friends make me want to kill myself. And I was trying to, I was pleading with them, being like, I don't want to be around you. Your behavior is hurtful. It's like, but unfortunately, I'm talking about people at Occupy Kingston when unfortunately I had nowhere else to go and I had to sleep in another guy's guest room, and before that we were camping out at parks for Kingston. But yeah, like I was like begging with them, like you're an asshole. You treat me like a piece of shit, and I word for word legitimately said like the way you treat me makes me want to die or makes me want to kill myself. And she flipped out. She was actually the girlfriend of Matt Thornton, who's like the unofficial leader of Occupy Kingston, and she flipped out and she's acting like I sent her a message where it's like you have to stop this or I'm going to kill myself. She was acting like I was threatening to kill myself when I was just trying to be like, that's how you make me feel. Sort of like what Naomi is doing here, but again, you go on the internet, you see your brother's being criticized, you get extremely angry, you do a bunch of shady shit, you go private, my phone explodes, you come out of private, you tag me in like 6 hysterical tweets that you instantly delete. What the fuck is going on? And of course I'm upset that like I'm personally dealing with this shit, but like from an unbiased point of view, this is a fucking horrible thing to do because there are actual people out there who actually are frightened and do have people who are like blackmailing them for money and shit. And when people act like this, you know what? It's crying wolf. And it doesn't just apply to that one person because every time the police get a false report, that adds on, and then when they get the legitimate reports, they have to be like, well, is it another false report or is it for real this time? So every time someone out there acts like this, they empower all the other assholes out there who are making victims. They take power away from actual victims. If no one out there cried wolf, the police would be a lot more effective and productive, and they wouldn't have to filter things and figure out who's telling the truth and whatnot. Yeah, so why is there one, two, three? There should be two. Oh, I must have included a second one, third time by accident. But anyways, shit's insane. So that's just my defense. It's a little bit too complicated to tweet it. Like that would be like I don't know, like 20, 50, maybe 100 tweets long, or have to use tweet longer or whatever. So my message is be kind to each other. I'm like signing off now. Be kind to each other. Uh, be the best you can be. I like that something else slipped my mind.
I'm gonna go. I don't know if I have any real housework to do today. My apartment's nice and clean. Oh, I don't know what the fuck that this is. So my cat threw up. I'm pretty sure. But it looks like poop. Like I don't know how the cat digestive system works, but is like, did it get like almost to the other end and he was gonna poop it out, and then it just backed up his intestines? Like cat throw up is weird. Like, can you imagine like a human throwing up poop shaped stuff? Ugh. But anyways, I gotta go clean that up and feed him some breakfast and go on my day. Good news on the physiotherapy front. I was gonna do some research and find another place, but I did finally get a call back from that one place I had in mind, and it's funny. The guy who called me back, his name is Justin, and like filling out my information, like your name's Justin, like mine, and he left a voicemail, and I reply. It's weird when you call, like I don't know if sometimes they answer the phone or if they're just really busy, but I left a voicemail saying that I got his voicemail, and then maybe I promised to have my phone off of silent in case he's gonna call back before it closed. Call back. So I got an appointment tomorrow, or sorry, not next week, Monday. It's like an intake appointment, so they're gonna assess me and whatnot. And I want my back to get back to normal, and it has been a little bit. It has improved a little bit since like I got the physiotherapy prescription, but I was busy with moving. I think it was like floating around like a 2 or a 3 on a scale to 10 for pain. And lately, I'd say it's about 1 to 2, but it's still there, and I'm just afraid like when I get back to work, I'm just afraid it'll instantly flare up, and want to be able to go back to my old jobs because I've always wanted to find a less physically intensive job and put my computer networking tech support diploma and my Bachelor of Business Administration degree to use. But I always seem to find myself um, working manual labor jobs, and my experience and the degree do help a little bit, like getting me quickly promoted to supervisor and on the path to manager. But I find a lot of places, um, it seems to be the Peter principle, which is in an organization, people tend to get promoted until they get promoted into a position that they are actually incompetent for. Like they should have not never been like they should have been promoted up to a certain point, but then they get promoted again, and it's a bad thing. But the Peter principle says that in most organizations that happens, and eventually you get full of people working positions that are overwhelming for them and they're not qualified for them or they're incompetent for them, and then you end up getting companies that just go through the motions and they don't have like managers and whatnot that are the best for that position. And a lot of the time you run into nepotism, and then you get people who would excel at those positions, but then all the managers they're pretty aware of themselves being underqualified or incompetent for their positions, so they get frightened and they see these like rising stars and they're like, oh shit, that person's going to make me look bad, they're going to steal my job. So you know what they do? They either make the workplace hostile, or they set them up to fail, or even worse, they just come up with false write-ups, and then they dismiss the person, and since they have like 3 false write-ups, they don't have to give them severance pay. So unfortunately, that has been my general experience working. But anyways, so I'm gonna go clean that. I'll probably come back with some Apex Legends and maybe some Space Engineers, not sure which, but I don't really have to do. There's some paperwork that I have to go through, but that can wait. It's not a rush. Like I got my physiotherapy appointment, and that was my top priority, and it's taken care of. So I am very happy, relatively. I can be a lot more happy if there wasn't any of this doxing and spamming shit going on. So yeah, so just to reiterate before I do sign off, um, yesterday I got a weird call from someone in Colorado. It was hard to tell, like, are they warning me or are they threatening me? Because they told me to watch out. That seems like something. That's a threat. Like it's a threat veiled as concern. It's been said and done hundreds and thousands of times. So humanity as a whole has kind of sort of figured it out. In my opinion. But eventually it'll stop, and like I'm preparing for the worst, but I have a feeling that it will be nowhere near the worst. It's going to be ironic if the only person who uses that doxed information was the person who supposedly warned me. I have a feeling that it was the person who posted it, probably a friend of Naomi. Or the ironic thing is, it looks like Naomi might have talked to Travis, and Travis is the only person I can think of who would be the other culprit for the spamming and the doxing. And so Travis would have been the person who was waiting for the opportunity and then saw the argument with me and Naomi, and he was like, "Oh, well, now's the perfect time I do this. It's going to look like Naomi did it." But by all appearances, she must have spoken to him later on. So I don't know how else she would find out there's another harassment charge for me or find more information about me. I'm pretty sure my main personal account was never linked to or mentioned on my alternative account, which is what I was interacting with Naomi with. So I'm like 99% sure she spoke to Travis because I was tweeting to and tagging Travis. And Travis must have told her what my Jusukan handle was. Like, it's possible that I could have like connected the two accounts. Maybe like I used my personal account to like one of the other tweets or retweeted something, but I have a strong feeling without going through the evidence to find out to be sure. Strong feeling that she contacted Travis and she found my Twitter handle. And she could have got my phone number from Travis too, but by all appearances, I don't think she contacted Travis until after my phone was being spammed. So it looks like she got it from her brother. No way to know for sure, but when things are obvious, they're obvious. You can't really get around it. So I'm gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna just reiterate my message to sign off with. Be good to each other and be the best that you can be. And we'll make the world a better place one step at a time. Thanks for watching.